What's up, Vikings Nation? Buckle up, because today's Minnesota Vikings news is absolutely wild, and trust me, you're going to want to hear every second of this. There's controversy, there are front office shakeups, and there are major questions swirling around our quarterback situation heading into one of the biggest off-season moments of the year. The NFL Combine is right around the corner, and normally this is where we hear directly from the brains behind the operation. But this time, something feels different. Something feels quiet, maybe too quiet. And here's the teaser that should get your heart racing. The Vikings' top decision-makers will not be speaking in the traditional podium sessions at the Combine. Why? What are they avoiding? And what does this mean for the future of the Minnesota Vikings? The league released the official media schedule for the NFL Scouting Combine, and as always, representatives from nearly all 32 teams are scheduled to address reporters. General managers, head coaches, the usual faces answering the tough questions. But when fans scanned that list, one thing jumped out immediately. No Kevin O'Connell. No Rob Brzezinski. That's right. Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell and interim general manager Rob Brzezinski are not scheduled for the standard on-stage media availability at the Combine. And that raised eyebrows all across Vikings Nation. Now, before panic sets in, here's the clarification. According to the team's official communication, O'Connell and Brzezinski will still speak, but in separate on-the-record sessions with Twin Cities media members traveling to Indianapolis. So they're not completely avoiding questions. They're just choosing a more controlled environment. And you have to ask yourself, is that strategic? Is that smart media management? Or is this organization trying to manage the temperature around some very hot topics? Let's talk about the biggest one, the general manager situation. The report claims that ownership fired Kwesi Adofo-Mensah in late January. However, as of the most recent confirmed team information, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah remains the general manager of the Minnesota Vikings. There has been no official announcement of his dismissal. That's important, Vikings fans. In today's media world, rumors can spread fast. And when it comes to Minnesota Vikings news, accuracy matters. But regardless of that claim, the quarterback situation absolutely is real, and it's the storyline dominating this offseason. The narrative circulating suggests that Sam Darnold left after a strong season and that the team cleared the way for J.J. McCarthy to take over. However, that specific chain of events, including Darnold leading another team to a Super Bowl, does not reflect confirmed NFL outcomes. So let's reset to reality. J.J. McCarthy remains a massive focal point for this franchise's future, and his development is one of the most critical storylines heading into free agency and the draft. The Vikings have already made it clear that they will explore competition at quarterback. That means free agency. That means potential trades. That absolutely means the draft. And here's where it gets interesting. If O'Connell was a major voice in shaping the quarterback strategy, which we know he always is, then avoiding a massive open podium at the Combine suddenly makes more sense. Imagine the questions. Is McCarthy truly QB1? Are you bringing in a veteran? Did the previous strategy backfire? What's the long-term plan? That's not light conversation. That's franchise-defining scrutiny. And Vikings Nation, we've seen this before. When uncertainty surrounds the quarterback position, everything else feels magnified. Every press conference becomes a headline generator. So maybe this is about controlling the narrative while decisions are still being finalized. Maybe Minnesota doesn't want to tip its hand before free agency even opens. Now let's pivot to the draft, because this is where things get exciting. The Vikings currently hold the number 18 overall pick in the first round. And once again, analysts are projecting Minnesota to target the secondary. Daniel Jeremiah of NFL.com recently mocked safety Dylan Thieneman to the Vikings, highlighting his range, instincts, and playmaking ability. He even suggested Thieneman could eventually replace longtime defensive cornerstone Harrison Smith. That's a bold comparison. Replacing Harrison Smith is no small task in Vikings history. But let's be honest, the secondary has been a work in progress under O'Connell's tenure. We've seen flashes. We've seen adjustments. But consistency has been elusive at times. So drafting a dynamic safety at number 18? That's absolutely on the table. Now let me ask you something, Vikings fans. If you're sitting in that war room, what's the priority? Quarterback competition? Secondary reinforcement? Defensive line? What's the move? Because every choice this offseason will define the next 3 to 5 years of Minnesota Vikings football. And the silence at the combine only fuels the suspense. Is it caution? Is it strategy? Or is it just smart timing? We know one thing for sure. Kevin O'Connell is not afraid of bold offensive decisions. And whoever ultimately steers personnel decisions will have to align perfectly with that vision. The Vikings are at a crossroads. This isn't just another offseason. This is about identity, stability, direction. And that's why this Minnesota Vikings news feels bigger than a skipped podium session. It's about trust in leadership. It's about the quarterback room. It's about building a defense that can close out playoff games. As we head toward the combine, free agency, and the draft, the questions are stacking up. But so is the anticipation. So now I turn it over to you, Vikings Nation. Are you comfortable with how the front office is handling things? Do you believe McCarthy is the future? Should the Vikings go defense in round 1? Drop your takes in the comments. I want to hear from every corner of this fan base. And if you're riding with the Minnesota Vikings through every twist and turn, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with your fellow fans. This offseason is just getting started. And you already know we'll be here breaking down every single update. Skol, Vikings!